Right, so a positive news story for a change, folks. No, Damo hasn't been necking the berocca and turned into a little ray of light all of a sudden, but a genuine bit of good news on the horizon. But as always, there's a caveat. The caveat is that those concerned need to get out and vote for it. The TSSA trade union, Transport Salaried Staffs Association, represents transport staff from rail, bus, ferries, though is mainly associated with bigger rail union, notably representing workers in ticket offices who face significant threats of job losses at the moment, as you may well have seen in the news of late. Now, the union has been mired in scandal in recent times, as detailed back in February with the publication of the Kennedy Report, an independent investigation chaired by Baroness Helena Kennedy KC, an investigation into allegations of bullying and sexual harassment at that union, chiefly aimed at the then union General Secretary Manuel Cortes, who both denied the accusations and apologised for them as well, claiming he couldn't remember the events. Bizarre, to say the least. The Kennedy Report findings, based on interviews with some 50 people, along with associated evidence, found numerous examples contributing to a truly toxic culture there, from inappropriate touching, coercive behaviour, assault, and humiliation of staff. Things have been so bad there that the Kennedy Report view was that all of this had been enabled by the union bosses through willful blindness, power hoarding, and poor practice. All senior leaders should leave their roles as a result. Well, this isn't exactly sunshine and roses as you promised us, Damo, you might be thinking, but out of the darkness comes the light. And I'm coming to that bit now. So you've got the backstory here. The union has been in a bad way for a while. Manuel Cortes has since been replaced on an interim basis by a temporary General Secretary, but the General Secretary role is an elected one. And so I come to the opportunity for change, now present to members of that union. You see, one of the recommendations made by Baroness Kennedy in her report was that the best placed sort of person to replace Cortes and set about fixing the union would be a member of the union's own staff. Not the management, obviously, but someone who knows the ins and outs. In fact, Kennedy herself remarked upon this, saying staff are well placed to help rebuild the union because they understand how it works and where the problems exposed came from and how best to address them. The experience possessed by those who worked through things when they were bad, so why not promote one of their own then? It's how things used to be done, isn't it? It was the norm. You started at the bottom and you climbed the ladder with experience, skill, and knowledge. So with that said, there is actually only one member of TSSA staff standing for the post of General Secretary. Only one member of staff. And she certainly is somebody members would do well to take a look at, Bonnie Craven. The TSSA is perhaps best known as a rail union, as I said before, and it's in rail that Bonnie started her career, working on the London Underground, and perhaps moving into a trade union role was made for her, raised as she was as an activist for public services, notably the NHS, which has always been very close to her, but also for all manner of public services as well, firmly believing they should be in our hands and not privatised, the mess that that has done to all of our services. We're all too familiar with that now. An activist her entire life, it was no surprise her skills were sought and acquired by the Jeremy Corbyn leadership campaigns, both of them. As a researcher looking for content and angles with which to approach interviews and speeches, and that campaign was actually run from the TSSA offices, which is how she came up on their radar. So it's a testament to her that she ended up later taking a job with them in 2017 and becoming strategic organising and campaigns officer for the whole of Scotland by 2021. She knows the ins and outs of the union. She has management experience, having previously worked as an assistant vice president for a multinational bank, no less. She was also once upon a time a primary school teacher, so if she can manage small children, she's got the people skills to manage big kids too, even those in a union. But in all seriousness, though, having been in the TSSA since 2017, she's seen the abuse. In fact, she was warned about it before taking the job up there. But what drove her was getting wins for members. When so many people in this country cannot get a fair crack, she saw an opportunity not for herself and the TSSA, but for its members. It's how she was raised as an activist, to get them some wins when wins were so thin on the ground. She indeed went on to face abuse while working there for years at the hands of her manager, but she put members before herself, winning above average pay deals for members, supporting representatives with casework, being involved in some serious complex cases, and her focus and determination and drive, even as she copped a load of flack herself, won her the respect and admiration of so many members, so much so that she was asked by them, by the membership itself, to run for this position. She knows she's got her work cut out for her, though, having seen so many of the problems unfold around her. She's seen the high turnover of staff, the loss of experience that comes from that, the loss in support for members that results from that. As a campaigner, not least on issues of equalities, she knows it is key to building good relations in communities to both retain and recruit more members, and also the staff needed to get the union running as an effective force once more. The mess the departed senior management have left is one of a political union not even having a political officer anymore. And as far as organisers go, a national union has just 15 of them to go around. Bonnie Craven's vision for the union under her leadership will be to address the vacancies in those important roles, along with an end to the anti-democratic and dysfunctional practice of reps and other staff working in designated bubbles or silos, a drive to build representation once more amongst young people who perhaps see no point in trade unionism. And to that effect, staff will be assigned to organise within companies to make the TSSA's presence felt in a more positive light once again. Pay in the union is going to be reviewed, not least her own salary, which she'll take at a lower rate than that has been advertised, using the rest as seed money to build a strike fund up. The Kennedy report and the earlier Connolly report have exposed massive failings in this union which need to be rectified. Craven will make good on the recommendations of both of those reports to learn from the issues that have been exposed in the recent scandals to have engulfed the TSSA and rebuild its reputation as a leader amongst trade unions on social and ethical issues and best practice within the unions themselves, becoming leaders amongst unions in these. Through her work experience, her activism, her political work as well, Bonnie Craven can match the political side of the TSSA with the trade unionism. She's walked both paths, so she can build campaigns between the two to protect the industry and those working in it. She's lived through the abuses in her union. She's seen them herself. She knows what needs fixing because she knows how they came about. And she will, as she said in her own words, in the promotional video she's already released, which you should absolutely watch, remember the past and secure the future. There simply is nobody better placed to do this. The opportunity that lies before TSSA members right now to have such a person to lead their union is at their fingertips, and I really hope they grasp it. That's why I wanted to do this video, because this is such an opportunity for a trade union that sorely deserves to be cut a break right now and needs somebody of Craven's caliber to get it back to the force for good for workers and in politics that everyone in it needs it to be, and all the rest of us who use the services provided by its members need it to be as well. Not least on that recently announced issue on ticket office closures, something Bonnie Craven has already issued a statement on to resist, a battle she's fought and won over before, because it will leave staff and members of the public less safe with fewer staff around. There is nobody else better place to run this union, so I humbly offer her my heartfelt endorsement. Let's get members moving forward by getting this lady elected. Cheers, folks.